don't think that we're in a financial bubble. I do think that we are in very unique times. The COVID virus has changed many things, and including government policy, specifically fiscal and monetary policy. These have been very, very accommodative, so the markets have responded very positively. I think that's a natural sort of process. Valuations seem to be following along with the price structure. So I think there's some danger that we could be in a bubble sometime down the road, but at present, I think the markets are just responding to the macroeconomic environment, and that it's a perfectly normal and natural process. So the Federal Reserve, since I'm an American, I sort of pay a lot of attention to them. They understand that it's a very delicate process here, that they've supplied a lot of money, they've forestalled an economic contraction. They understand that they have to end this process, and I think they're going to do it very, very slowly and very, very carefully. This is undoubtedly going to put pressure on markets. We're all addicted to free money now, and I think it's going to be a long process, but I think what it's going to do is it's going to slow the growth rate of markets, because behind that, the economies are going to be expanding, and I think expanding pretty strongly next year. So on one hand, you're going to have the Fed taking some monetary ease and away from the markets. On the other hand, you're going to have the economy pretty strong and corporate earnings coming in pretty strong. So I think the stock markets are actually going to do reasonably well. I don't think we're going to have a great year like we had, say, last year, but I'm not expecting any major turn down soon. Corrections? Yes. I mean, can we have normal 5, 10, maybe 15% pullbacks? A lot of industry rotation as investors try to figure out what the best path forward. All that sort of thing I think you're going to see a lot of, but I don't see the ingredients right now for a major bear market. Well, I think it already has brought radical change in the financial world. I mean, you have the Treasury, the U.S., talking about an electronic dollar. I mean, it never would have had that. I mean, whether we get one or not, who knows? But it's become a subject. So I think that cryptocurrencies have already changed the name of the game, and dramatically so. The interesting thing about cryptocurrencies for me is that it's a relatively clean environment. There aren't, well, I guess these days there are, but for most of the history of cryptocurrencies, there weren't a lot of professional traders in there. There wasn't a lot of arbitrage. There wasn't a lot of program trading and such like that. And so that made it an ideal environment for technical analysis. I got involved in trading cryptocurrencies some years ago, and have found them to be ideal vehicles for technical analysis. Well, I think it's two kinds, or two sorts of interest. One, an investor coming to an event like this can learn about the macro environment. They can get different economic views from different people and build the background against which they're trading. And I think that's very useful. I always talk about the traders having 3 time frames, the long-term time frame, the intermediate time frame, and the short-term time frame. And this doesn't matter what sort of trading you do. Even if you're a very, very short-term trader just trading ticks on the chart, you still have these 3 sorts of time frames. So I think a conference like this goes into filling a lot of the long-term time frame. You understand the environment that you're trading in, and that's really important, because then you can bias your operations in harmony with the environment. The other thing I think that's very useful about these sort of events is you get to meet traders with long histories like myself, and who will actually talk about what we do and how we do it in very practical, very straightforward terms. And I think that that's actually relatively hard to come by. So the combination of getting sort of economic background and practical trading knowledge in the same forum, I think is very useful. About practical, educational, and informative.